What's going on, everyone? This is Jay from Premier Gaming Entertainment, and I know it's been a while since I've last posted a video. I do apologize. Just haven't been into it to post anything on my channel, but I will be definitely getting back to it with college football coming up and everything like that. I'll be posting on a regular, but this is not what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to be talking about the whole Kawhi Leonard free agency situation. I mean, I know it's over now, but I just wanted to give my thoughts about that. I'll be making another video about my whole thoughts about the Raptors and their season as a whole. It's strange. Normally I'm posting tons and tons of videos about the Raptors, but this year I've basically only posted one at the beginning of the season. And now at the end of the season, after everything is done, we won the championship and everything, and don't really have a good reason for it, but I don't know. It's just one of those things where I didn't want to jinx anything. In the past, I've made predictions and they haven't come true. But I wanted to talk about my thoughts and feelings about the whole thing with Kawhi Leonard at the end, him signing with the Clippers and everything. I'll just get into it. My honest opinion is he never was going to come back. He was going to go to LA, not the Lakers. I didn't think he was going to be one of those people that joined LeBron, because I know he didn't want to play with LeBron. So I think it was the Clippers all along. I was one of those fans that honest to God thought that, I thought that Kawhi, maybe after playing a year, us winning the whole thing, maybe he would consider us. But honestly, we were never really in the running. We weren't in consideration. And it was all the time, it was the Clippers. I was going to make a video before this, but then some other stuff popped up, and I wanted to kind of go through that and analyze that before I made this video. So I'm going to actually let you hear an excerpt from an interview that Masai had, where they were asking him questions about the whole free agency process, and it was interesting to hear his response when they asked him about the whole thing with Kawhi Leonard and whether or not he was basically honest and forthright with the whole thing with free agency. So listen to this, and I'll come back and give you my thoughts and opinions on that.
Did you think Kawhi was fairly upfront with you during the process, and how did the meeting go in general with him?
I think he was. Kawhi was.
Was anybody not?
I know what we're dealing with here, and I appreciate what the process was, and I know free agency. I know how it works. It's not my first rodeo, So things are going to go up and down. This was a different kind of free agency. It's high stakes, and we understood that.
So after watching the video, you could clearly see that he didn't specifically say that he didn't point out or say exactly what he meant or wanted to say. He kind of made mention of it and kind of steered around it, but still made mention that the negotiations didn't go as planned, and that someone in their camp wasn't exactly being the most honest about the whole situation. He didn't name any names. He didn't really admit to it, but he didn't exactly deny it either. I mean, if it were just a case that everything went perfectly well, there was no hitches, there was no disappointment in the tactics that went on during the discussions, he just would have answered yes and just kept it moving. But the way that he said, Kawhi did, leads you to realize that someone else in his camp definitely wasn't, the most honest with the negotiations. And that's, it is what it is. It sucks that he's gone. I wish that he would have resigned. At the end of the day, he wanted to play closer to home. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work out for him. Being out in the West with a lot of teams getting better, his team is going to be good, but it's not a guarantee. He would have had a better chance of repeating if he had stayed in Toronto, but like I said, he wanted to go home, and there's nothing that Toronto could do. To be honest with you, the Raptors, the organization, the city, the country, the fans, everybody did everything in their power to make him feel as at home as possible. They helped get him back to being 100%. They worked on his health. They worked on his conditioning. They allowed him to, take games off, didn't play back-to-backs. He missed like a third of the season, actually about 30% of the regular season. I don't know what more the Raptors could have done to make him stay. They did everything in their power, and at the end of the day, no matter what they did, LA was still his number one focus. And there's nothing wrong with that. I understand that, but it's disappointing. We knew that it could possibly go that direction. It was a risk, but it was worth the risk because we won a championship. And one thing that I did want to, make note of, I'm tired of reading and hearing people saying that he won us a championship. It's not true. I'm tired of people saying he won us a championship. No, he won a championship with us. It was a team effort. It wasn't just him and the rest of the team. No, it was a team. He didn't play 1-on-5 and the other guys just sat on the bench and let him win. No. It was a team effort for us to win that championship. So people need to put that to rest, talking about he won us a championship, you should be grateful. No. He was part of a team effort to win that championship. The rest of the team was as much a part of that championship as he was. Everyone benefited from that situation. It wasn't just, he won it for us. No, it doesn't work that way. So, at the end of the day, him and Danny Green were a key component to put us over the top to get us to win a championship. But he didn't win us a championship. So people need to put that to rest. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen going forward with the team. Another thing that I felt was interesting is this whole rumor about the trade that could have been. And, I saw the rumors, saw what the potential trade was, and I'm glad that they didn't make the trade. Now, a lot of people are saying that Masai should have pulled the trigger. Man, how could you give up having Westbrook, Paul George on your team? But the fact of the matter is, it would have been a bad trade for the Raptors. On paper, it looks good. In theory, it looks good. Fantasy, it looks good. But at the end of the day, it would have been us mortgaging away the team's future just to maybe win and maybe keep these guys a couple of years at the most and then having nothing afterwards. Because at the end of the day, none of those guys are going to want to stay here. Kawhi obviously didn't want to stay. So just getting Paul George for 2 years, they're not going to stick around. So you get them for a 2-year rental and then they're gone. So to me, it just, you would have had 2 years of these guys and then you would have been starting from scratch with nobody. I mean, the starting point for the trade, from what I heard, is we'd have to trade for Paul George, and in return we'd have to give up Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and 4 first-round draft picks. So, you're talking about a future all-star player in Pascal Siakam, a potential 6th man of the year in Fred VanVleet. Then you're talking about future draft picks for the next 4 years for a guy in Paul George who, to me, has not even proven himself in the playoffs. So, that would have just been a starting point to get in the conversation. For all we know, that wouldn't even have been the end of it. They might have asked for more than that. But I was just to get it on the table. Then on top of that, they wanted to throw in Westbrook, who has 4 years and $170-something million left on his contract. And in return, we would have to probably given up more draft picks and some Kyle Lowry or Serge Ibaka on top of that. So we would have just been decimated our whole team and traded for 2 players that, in the last couple of years, it got bounced out of the first round for the Thunder. And that's only just for a chance that Kawhi might resign with us. So, at the end of the day, it wasn't worth it. It's not like Kawhi was recruiting Paul George to come to Toronto. It wasn't like Kawhi was recruiting Kevin Durant to come to Toronto. It wasn't like he was recruiting Kyrie to come to Toronto or Jimmy Butler. No, he was recruiting those guys to potentially play on the Clippers. The Raptors were just an afterthought. At the end of the day, maybe Kawhi comes back if the Clippers don't pull off the trade for Paul George. Maybe he resigns back with Toronto. Because I don't think he wanted to play with the Lakers. I think that was all a ploy. I think had he not been able to get his way and, talk Paul George into forcing his way out of OKC, I think he would have resigned back with Toronto. But that's just, it's not like he wanted to do it. It's kind of okay, well, I wasn't able to pull a second player to the Clippers. I want to do this on my own there, so I might as well just go back and sign with Toronto. So, but like I said, I'm glad that we didn't pull off the trade. The Clippers are in a very, very, they're in a dire situation. I mean, they landed the player that they wanted. They got Paul George, but they gave up a whole lot to get those 2 players. I mean, they gave up picks all the way up until 2026. They gave up, their starting point guard. They gave up a very decent player in Gallinari. And basically, they only have these 2 players for 2 years. I was surprised to see Kawhi only signed a 3-year, 2+ an option. So there's a chance that he might not even stick around after 2 years. Especially if they don't win, I don't think he's going to stick around. So just imagine you trade away your whole future for 2 years, and these guys might not even stick around. I mean, that's kind of rough. So, I understand that, but the situation between the Clippers and the Raptors is not exactly the same. People will say that the Raptors did the same thing as the Clippers did, but no. The Raptors did a player swap and gave up their present to win a championship. They didn't give up their future to win a championship. And those are 2 different things. at the end of the day, even though Kawhi didn't resign with them, they still have a decent team. Obviously, it's not a championship caliber team, but it's still a playoff caliber team. It's still a team that can contend. It's a team that's going to be in the playoffs still. The gamble of the Clippers, if they don't retain those guys, that's not going to be a championship caliber team. It's not even going to be a playoff team. That's going to be a lottery team. And that's going to be a team that's going to be a lottery team with no chance to get any better for years. So, huge difference in that. And so I wish him the best of luck. Obviously, he's no longer in a team, so I'm not going to be cheering for the Clippers. Obviously, I hope everything works out for him. But yeah, they got a 2-year window to get things done over there. And like I said, I don't think he's going to stick around the Clippers if they're not winning a championship or if they're not seriously contending. The Clippers are not. They're second fiddle in L.A. I've never understood the whole dynamic of two teams sharing the same building, but regardless of whatever the trade was, they're still going to be the second team in that building. It's still a Lakers town. I don't care what anybody says. They're not going to, even if they have a better record, the Lakers are still going to be the team in LA. So he's always going to be in the shadows of LeBron until LeBron steps aside or retires. The Clippers are always going to be second fiddle to the Lakers, no matter what. So hopefully the Raptors can, turn things around. I think the plan is by 2021, when all these other guys, all these free agents come on the market, that we can sign somebody. I don't know if it's going to happen though. The Raptors are still, and this is still one of the biggest problems with the organization. Actually, the two biggest problems, but they're both hand in hand. One is keeping the stars that they have and enticing stars to come play. Now, we can bring role players in. We can bring in potential stars that can grow into stars. We draft well. But, other than DeMar and Kyle, nobody stuck around. When you think all the way back to Damon Stoudemire and Tracy Murray, or obviously McGrady, Vince Carter, Antonio Davis, Chris Bosh, none of these guys stuck around. They either left or demanded to get traded. And now you add Kawhi to the mix. Nobody wants to stick around for the Raptors. And it's just become a trend. And it's also the trend for trying to entice those top-notch players to want to sign with us. So Masai has his work cut out for him. I know the man does a wonderful job at what he does. He put together this team as it is to win a championship. And I trust that he'll do whatever he can to, put us back in the mix to win another championship. But it's really going to be a test for us to do this again. It's going to be difficult to entice a big name player to come play with us. I know I see a lot of people talking about Giannis in 2021. And maybe it happens, I don't know. But we're going to be hard pressed to do it. No one no one has spoke. People speak highly of Toronto, but when it comes to actually putting forth the effort to actually come here and sign with us, nobody wants to do it. So we just have to keep our fingers crossed and see what happens. So, anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. I know this was kind of lengthy, but I just had a lot of thoughts about the process. I'm going to make another video about the actual season as a whole and my thoughts about the championship and everything like that. But that'll be for another day. Anyways, thank you for watching the video, and have a blessed day. Peace.